Alright, what's going on? So just want to do a quick recap of this paper trade that I took on SOPA yesterday and again today. And it's I took some shorts, and I just want to kind of go over how I traded it and the mistakes I made. And it's just a bit of an embarrassing one, and a small bit alarming as well, how I kind of traded, especially this morning. So I wanted to not let myself off the hook and just forget about it. I wanted to actually document it, to make sure that I address the problems and make a proper note of it going forward, so I can refer back to this video um, and remind myself from time to time, how dangerous shorting the front side can be, and not being able to identify the front side of a move. So SOPA is a 14 million float. It's spiked on this day, the 20th, on news about being uplisted to the, or sorry, not uplisted, but it's been added to the Russell 3000 index or something. So like it did get a lot of volume coming in, but I was like, well, why is, yeah, okay, it sounds like a decent, but it's not like, it didn't seem to me like it was major news. So that can kind of cause a few things to happen. It can actually cause short sellers to think that like it's up, it's moving for kind of nothing, it's just gonna die off, and they can start like getting interested in shorting it too early. And with the volume and the float, if there's a lot of volume, the short sellers can end up being just end up pushing the stock up, being one of the major factors in the stock just doesn't die and continues to move up. So I had noticed it obviously had gone here this day. This was on the day of the news. So it had gone up massively. So like that should be kind of, I actually love these plays that move massively, but I wasn't really able to identify like why that kind of news was so significant, and I probably need to maybe check out why, and if there is a significance to it. But because I love these to the long side, I love getting involved if I feel like they're going to run multiple days. And you can see here, like there's a run up on the first day, and then it holds a support here, and then it holds the support here. I know this is after hours, but it comes down to the support. Next morning it's a gap on, but it comes down and it pretty much holds the same level here as support. And it squeezes here at some point, so you can see that short sellers have got involved here, and they think that this stock is doomed and that it's just going to come back down, but they get caught out here, and the stock squeezes. So you can see that action here. Look, that's a halt there, so that's 10:51, 10:52, and the next time it's 5 minutes later, so that it resumes there. Okay, I've highlighted that. That's a short option there and long here, but that's easier in hindsight. This is very, very choppy action here, and it's kind of hard to judge. But the volume is a key component as well in being able to judge these. So that's day two. I didn't paper trade any of these days, but on the third day, it holds that key support there again in the morning. So the short sellers gets squashed out there, and then it does come back down and kind of doesn't do a whole lot for the rest of the day. Then the next day it opens, and it probably sucks in the shorts again, because they see this dipping at the open. So this is a dip and rip. So it's holding, but it holds the support again, and it comes up here. So that's from 9 to 10 quite a move there. It comes back down and then wham, just rips shorts off, faces off again here. So you could think that, oh yeah, the shorts are out here, and you start entering short, and then all of a sudden you're out, your face is blown off and you haven't had a chance to kind of react to it. So there's a halt, and then it resumes 5 minutes, and then goes to as far as the 1170s. So let's just blowing shorts up there. So sorry, then where was I? That's here, yeah. And then I wasn't really looking at the stock, but I was looking at the OTCs in the morning, and I came across this SOPA around here when it was about to break 14. So it was here that I saw it, and I was like, whoa, this looks strong. And I was like, should I short here, or not short here, or should I long here? Because it just was giving me the signs on the tape, the speed of the tape and the volume, that this was looking like it was going to go on a run here. So this was down here, but I kind of looked at where it had come from, and I was like, whoa, it's come a lot already this morning. Like this looks too extended for me to get involved in, and it's coming up to former resistance as well. So I reasoned it might struggle up around this level, and so I didn't get involved. But I was like, oh well, it's kind of going parabolic, so I'll kind of see what it does and think about a short into the parabolic. So I saw it break out to 14. I was like, okay, it's broken out, and then I saw it kind of struggled here a bit, and for some reason I decided to take a starter at 14.75. So I entered here. It rejected 15, came down to 14.46, and I was like, okay, I'll take a starter at 14.75, which in hindsight was just obviously way too early, and the volume should have been the key factor to keep me away from it, and to just let it do its thing and stay out of its way. The plan was to take starter size, and I was like, okay, it might go higher, but I can add between 15 and 16 to have full size. So it was 50 shares here, and then the plan was to add 50 shares somewhere between 15 and 16, and then for hoping for a move back down to maybe 13 or 12 or whatever. But because of the nature of the action, I was like, nah, this is too strong, and the volume was high, and so I was just like, no, actually, and my risk for this piece was at 16. So when it broke 16, I put the cover order at 16, and it got me out. So then I was like, okay, whoa, that's strong. I'll just watch it for another while, let it do its thing. And I was thinking of getting involved here, but I was like, it's going to go down without me now. I'm going to miss out. And I was like, nah, but it's. And then I saw it kind of creeping back up, and I was like, no, let it rip shorts off again, and don't get involved. Wait and see. So it did, and then it came down here. So this was the first kind of significant pullback, and I was like, okay, I'll. So obviously I'm flat now. I've already covered this, and I said I'll give it another try. So I took a starter, 50 shares at 17.50. So it come down here, and I was like, okay, where will I put my order? Because I wanted to put my order on a bounce back up to that and risk off the highs. So I put the order at 17.50, and then I just watched it, and I was like, when this candle happened, I was like, okay, that's a good sign. It's struggling up there, and then when this happens, I was like, oh, I'm only half size. I thought it was kind of pretty much looking like it was done, and I was like, well, I'm only half size. I was like, the plan was to add in the 18s. I even said it out loud, for a move back to 14. So the plan was, this was the starter, and the plan was to add somewhere in the 18s when if it had kind of gone up and started to show weakness or topping action, I was going to try and get some sort of an add-on in the 18s. But it had come down here, so then I was like eager to get my full size on. So I was like, okay, I'll put an order at 1697 is where I put the order, and it came up and it hit it. I was hoping it would just come up and barely get me in, and then start coming back down straight away. But it kind of came up strongly, and I was like it filled me, and I was like, stayed going. I was like, okay, and my average was 17.16. I was like, okay, I'm underwater, but it's not so bad because I have my risk. I know what my risk level is. The risk is the high a day, and you know that I had my risk, so I wasn't majorly uncomfortable. But the longer this went on here, the more I was like looking at the chart, and I was like, this is so strong, and the volume was still strong, and I was just like, this keeps coming down, but it keeps going right back up and hanging around up here, and it's like, this is very, very close to, like, if it breaks 18, it's probably going to surge to 19, and so I was getting quite squeamish around here, but I still like was fairly relaxed because like, this is trading, and I was like, I'm not in an uncomfortable situation. I haven't oversized. I've only 100 shares. This is all paper trading, but when I'm paper trading, I try to make it as realistic as possible. So, like, with my account size, I could really only probably take about 100 shares and feel comfortable with that amount as well. Um, so 100 shares is about 1,716 to be exact, dollars worth of stock short. Um, so this kept going along and along and along and along, and I was like, I thought here, I was like, no, I'm gonna have to have my finger on the button here to cover my shares, because it's around here, and then here, especially when it come down here and then it responded. I was like, nah, this is not over. This is just refusing to go down, and then the funny thing happened is it came up here, and I could see the tape speeding up even faster, and I was like, right, I'm going to have to cover, and it shot up to breach the high a day, so I clicked the button to cover all my shares and cover the position and hit send, and like, it was all in the space of a split second. It just went up to like 1860 and then straight back down, and it was like down at 1730s, or it was down here, and I was like, oh my god. And there was a surge in volume, and then I was like, oh my god, the shorts have just been flushed out, and I've been part of that. And I was just, my jaw dropped, and I was just like, oh my god. Like, I understood exactly what had happened. Like, it was this game of chess here. There was shorts involved. They were waiting for this breakdown. They were probably adding here and finding themselves a little bit underwater here. And they're like, well, we're still okay, but if it breaks the high a day, I got to get out. This is what shorts would be thinking. This is what I was thinking. So I know that other shorts were thinking the same thing, and it did. And at this point, there's not so many long buyers looking to buy a breakout, unless you're kind of naive and foolish. Um, you don't want to be kind of buying a further higher day breakout when it's already kind of come so far and starts to kind of stall out here. But you can be sure that there were some buyers who would have been waiting for a breakout here, and so they would have bought into that as well. But that would have helped squeeze the shorts out. But the main thing is that I got stopped out, and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe it, So I think in hindsight, what I would have done was I wouldn't have been so quick to pull the trigger to get me out. Okay, you do risk it going to 1950 or something, and maybe a halt, but I don't think at this point it's going to necessarily run into a circuit halt. So I think it could have been a little bit more calm and just said, okay, like, if it breaks out and holds. But the nature of the action in the market of late is sometimes it just rips so fast that you just want to get out, you know. So I was panicking and a little bit panicky, and I stopped out. But I wasn't to know that that was going to happen in any case, so I stuck to my risk. At least I give myself credit for that. But the whole idea was is that, like, why was I shorting this kind of in the first place? And I was thinking back, like, this is I was calling this a parabolic short here, but I don't know if you call it parabolic. Yeah, it's parabolic when it gets up here, but it's also front side of the move. You know, it's the third day of the run. It's held support, and I'm kind of involved short, and it's like with the level of volume, it's just too early, I think, to be looking for anything significant to come back down there on that, given the volume. So if I had been still in it, say this hadn't happened, I did I did kind of cover. This is all fantasy. Like, I did cover a partial down here and 15. I think it was 1580s maybe, and then I was hoping to cover the rest in the low 15s, and I covered at, I think, 1660, and I was just showing too much strength. So it would have been a small win if this hadn't have happened, but I got stopped out. So then the next morning, it's still going sideways here. It closes strong. So the next morning, which is this morning, I was looking at it, and I was like, this is like for a long, like, for a little dip and rip at the open, and sorry, here it is, and a long, and so it closed here and opened here. So I wrongly identified this as a first red day. Well, I was thought it was going to be a first red day, I guess, because it was coming down lower than the highs here, I suppose, but it was still opening up, I think, higher than yesterday. So yesterday is, yeah, so still opening up higher here. Anyway, it came down, and no, at the open I was like, I came down here and I was like, it's in the low 16s. I could look for a buy in the low 16s, because I have a feeling, just given the nature of the shorts and all that and the volume, that this can still rip. It's up near its highs. It's really only in the consolidation zone, so this is a great chance to kind of rip through 20 today. But when it opened weak, I was like, okay, I expected it to maybe open weak. I wasn't too surprised about that, but when it didn't continue or rebound and go and rip in the first few minutes, I started thinking, okay, wait a second, looks like it could break down. So I saw this move here, and I was like, okay, that's kind of confirmation that it's kind of over to a certain extent. And so what I did was paper trade, put an order in at 1630. I saw it coming down here, and I was like, if it goes under 16s, this could really go. And so I was like, okay, don't chase it too much. Just put an order at 1630. Put the order for half size filled, right? And I was like, if it goes under 1680s, I'll have a little alert set, and I'll place an order at 1685 to get the full size for a fade back down. Yeah. So I did that, and like, literally the moment that I had put that order in, and I was at full size with an average of about 1607. I have it written there, 100 shares. The thing shot up, and didn't even give me a chance to do anything. Maybe I could have clicked market order, but I wasn't expecting that to happen so fast. And it was just like, zoom, boom, and it's into a circuit hold, 1795, which is just like what I was anticipating was going to happen here. Ended up sucking in more shorts, and then ripping the faces off them here. So another lesson in the bank there, and I just think that, I shouldn't be shorting these when they're still showing a lot of strength, and you need to be fully sure that they're kind of broken down before you kind of do short them, short any kind of weakness, because I'm there taking the short positions into the kind of weakness, hoping for further. Whereas I'm trying to get more to like shorting strength and then covering into weakness. And I got caught out here. It hadn't really broken down through its lows here anyway. I was just judging it off $16, which I shouldn't have. So anyway, got ripped up, and I think then here obviously is where I covered when I had a chance, and it goes a little bit further, and then I suppose here is the point where the more patient short seller option is maybe to come in short here after you see this kind of action here and a weaker bounce. So that's all. Just need to get better at defining the setup and not getting involved on the front side of a move.